1997, excuse you.
You were 10.
Should I bring it back?
No.
You don't want my grades.
It's like they'll have another vibe. I was gonna say, dude.
I'm so surprised.
This is the weird. One more. Wait. But where?
Sa Shogun.
Okay.
I think so.
Audi Cow.
Yes?
Can you just give me this? Am I live streaming?
Yeah, you're live.
Can you just give me the I couldn't figure that out. 60. It was 42. 3 years ago. Me? It was 40. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, every year.
Oh, we are live.
Oh, Chelsea. Need help? Are we all ready? Are we closing this?
How does this work?
No.
It's not showing.
Hi everyone.
Alright, thank you all for coming to Q&A today. So yeah, this is our opportunity to get to know the candidates for the open positions for KP board and get to know like what their plans are for the positions and stuff like that. So the structure of it, how it's going to happen, we're going to start with operations manager. Candidates will come up, they will introduce themselves, why they're running for the position, etc. And then we'll open the floor for 5 questions, and then each candidate will take turns answering the questions. And then we'll ask if anyone has any more questions. And then if the candidates are comfortable answering more questions, then we will continue. Also, candidates, for the heads up, this is the live stream, so you're live on YouTube right now, just for those who are not able to be here physically. So just a heads up and stuff like that. Alright, cool. What's up? So we'll start with operations manager.
So operations manager is responsible for all official correspondence of KP. This officer checks the mailbox, maintains the archive, and must be aware of all officers' events and deadlines. With the Vice Chair of Finance, this officer is responsible for assisting and/or overseeing the process of the Triad Activities Planner, otherwise known as TAP, for all KP events. This officer is also responsible for the maintenance of KP's inventory. Furthermore, this officer is in charge of including but not limited to fundraising for KP, along with the VP Vice Chair of Finance. So can we have our candidates come up? We have Virgil, Wong, and Kimberly Marie. like introduce yourselves. Thank you. Y'all can introduce yourselves, just do your name, year, major, and then just like explain why you want to run for the position.
And then also, when you ask a question, please speak up so that they can hear it on the mic. Yeah, y'all see this.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Kimberly Marie. I was born and raised in Pasadena, California. I'm a first year at Eleanor Roosevelt College. I'm majoring in human biology. And I am choosing to run for operations manager because I aim to be more involved with KP. To start off, I was a participant at the SHAPES overnight program with Spaces. My host was Ate Terumi, and Ate Terumi helped me get to know what KP was. She also introduced me to other members of KP. I got to know Ate Josie, Kuya Paulo, Ate Jess, and even more people. And it made me feel that UCSD was the right choice for me because KP felt like an extended family for me, and that really affected me personally. Ate Terumi helped me, and she inspired me to take initiative for KP, so that is why I'm running for operations manager. I also strive for the equality, and I also want to raise the awareness for Filipino Americans, so that is why I'm here today.
Hi guys, I'm Virgil. I'm a second year at Muir College. I'm a general bio major. Fun fact, I'm from Boston. So I'm pretty interested in Filipino culture in general. I feel like in Boston, the Filipino population and niche is very small, and after I came to California for college, I started to notice there's a pretty big Filipino community, and I was interested in getting involved. So yeah.
Cool. So we'll open up the floor for anyone with questions.
Sure. As operations manager, you would be working closely with the vice chair, finance, and other board members to ensure that there is enough funding for all the KP events. Describe your working style and how you plan to balance the needs of all board members.
My working style is that I work independently or through teamwork. I'm very flexible with my working styles. I also plan to be connected with other KP board members. I also plan to support other KP board members, because that is also a responsibility for me. And I also plan to maintain open communication and always be on top of my things.
So for me, I really like working in teams. I feel like when I'm in the group setting and there's a set objective, I'm very good at focusing in on that and getting to the point, getting the work done. I feel a lot of responsibility towards my peers, and when it involves them, I try to put forward my best work ethic and make sure that things get done.
I don't know if you clarified this, but just, for the next question, y'all switch, we'll take turns going first. Then you can go next to the next question.
Operations manager is in charge of organizing KP barbecues and as well as miscellaneous fundraisers. How do you believe your past experiences and/or unique characteristics would help you in programming for fundraisers while maintaining a level of organization?
Okay, so in terms of organizing things and sort of maintaining tasks, last year I was part of NMO staff, NMO's advanced team on campus, and I was also part of the banquet committee, so I helped organize a lot of aspects of the banquet as well as general events. And I feel like in terms of just organizing, in terms of balancing tasks, because I do notice that operations manager has a variety of tasks to take care of. I feel like I'm pretty good at keeping track of and balancing things. Last year I was part of UCSD rugby and NMO while doing all of my coursework, so I feel like I'm pretty good at managing different tasks and staying on top of them.
Well, for me, I believe I can stay on top of my organization skills because last year I served as a part of the ASB, Associated Student Body, for 2 years. I was elected as a class secretary in my junior year and a school side council member during my senior year. And with those two positions, I got to experience what it was like to plan events and also schedule accordingly. And also for my high school's National Honor Society, I was chosen as a secretary and also the vice president. So with these positions, I was able to contribute to my high school's events and committees. Lastly, I also experienced being on the Pasadena Youth Council. I served as a part of the Community Service Committee, and I got to experience what it was like to be managing time. I was a very well-rounded student, and I believe I can balance these activities because I always keep a physical planner and an electronic planner with me, and with these sources, I can always check these on a daily basis to make sure I'm on top of these things.
Recently, KP has lost much of its traditional funding used towards events such as PCC, PAT, etc. What fundraising ideas do you have in mind for this upcoming school year?
My first fundraising idea is to come up with a KP barbecue session or also another Filipino food session on campus. My other fundraising idea is to come up with restaurant fundraisers for off-campus. This is open for students and also with residents for San Diego County. My third fundraising idea is to come up with the tape a professor or hire a professor session. And my fourth fundraising activity is the 5K run for any community related situation.
So I don't have four ideas, but in general, I feel like the whole fundraising through the barbecue and like food stuff is I'm not gonna say adequate, but it's all I got for now. So.
Being on board can be a lot of work and be very overwhelming. How do you intend to practice self-care in order for you to work academically and function socially?
So last year I had a bit of trouble in sort of maintaining my, I guess like living habits and stuff. I was very bad at like saying no to my friends and they're like asking me to go out and stuff. But this year I'm living off campus. I have like a much better, at least so far, I've been really good at taking care of myself, I guess. I've been like cooking and like making sure I'm getting enough sleep. I'm ahead of all my assignments, and over the summer I knew I'd be busy this quarter because of my coursework. So I did read ahead on my syllabus for most of my classes. So I'm pretty, I'd say, caught up, and I'm pretty confident in my ability to stay on top of my work and sort of maintain a good balance of like social life and like healthy living and all that other stuff.
Alongside my duties as an operations manager, I look forward to caring for other board members by also practicing self-care. Board support and self-care are essential components as a part of the KP board, and I also look forward to making sure that each KP board member is in good condition physically, mentally, and emotionally. I also strive to maintain a balance through time and academics and every single duty I have. And I've had to stay organized throughout the school year as well.
What is your understanding of the pillars of KP, and how do you think your position plays a role in these pillars?
The 5 pillars of KP are social, political, academic, cultural, and environmental. And KP plays a role in each of these 5 pillars because KP takes part in cultural empowerment. KP also does its part in making sure that every Filipino student has increased graduations towards the end of the year. They also promote retention, and they also strive for social activities. They have activities where they have high school students and college students socialize together.
So as far as the 5 pillars of KP, I did not memorize them, but I feel like in terms of just what KP stands for, you know, just like having a social support group, a net of people who are kind of there for you. Academics, obviously important, you don't want to forget about that. People who aren't just gonna party all the time, but like hold you accountable, people you can study with, and in terms of just like educating people about Filipino culture in general, I hope to help with that, but also like educate myself about Filipino culture, because that is a big reason why I joined KP. So yeah.
So that was 5 questions. Are you comfortable answering more questions?
Organization and accountability are important aspects of the position you're applying for. Please give an example of a time when you have demonstrated these skills.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so in terms of organizing Enmo banquet, I was pretty much like the main person in responsibility for sort of assembling the entire menu, accounting for like food allergens, like dietary restrictions, contacting various establishments, making sure they had the food on time, kind of collecting funds from people, that sort of thing. And it all went through without hitch. I think it went pretty well. So I think that is a little bit of experience that I have to offer.
Okay. One experience I had that had to do with organization and accountability was last year, where I was a vice president for NHS. I had to come up with a fundraising activity for NHS members. I set up a food fair, and I was also a part of the IB program, so I had to plan accordingly and schedule things ahead of time. As an operations manager, I plan to use the Trident academic planner for every event, and I plan to stay on top of everything and also maintain communication with every board member to make sure that I know of all events and always stay aware of everything.
Are you familiar with TAP, and how does it relate to your position?
TAP. Okay. TAP stands for Trident Academic Planner. It's used by the operations manager at least 21 days before an event and must be finalized within at least 14 days for an event. And it's also used for fundraising activities and other events.
So for me personally, like I remember hearing about it at I think the first GBM or something. For me, planners aren't really my thing. I feel like I don't know. I write stuff down and I kind of forget it. Like I don't refer back to it. It helps me more to it's too like formatted, I guess. So I'll like write note reminders and stuff, but I don't really make use of planners, I would say. It varies from person to person. It's just not something that I personally utilize.
What is board support, and what would you do in the event that you don't get it?
I don't know what board support is.
Board support is looking out for each board member and making sure that they are in top condition emotionally, physically, and mentally. Board support is essential because taking a role on board is a large responsibility, and it's always important to look out for other people on board because you're not only watching out for academics but also for your duties as a role model for KP. And
Does anyone have any more questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
My sound got fucked up. The thing is watching.
So next we'll have Ourstorian. The Ourstorian coordinates the documentation and archiving of the history of KP by maintaining all records, including but not limited to photos, videos, and documents. This officer films and or takes pictures of all KP events, including GBMs and retreats. The Ourstorian is responsible for Our Story Corner topics at KP GBMs. This officer creates an end-of-the-year scrapbook/photo album. Archives of all media and documents are due by the following school year. This officer is not required to head media-related committees of events such as Makisama, High School Conference, and Philippine Agricultural Celebration. The Ourstorian coordinates the Our Story Gala with the alumni liaison only applies to every 5th anniversary year. And our candidate is Jasmine Hutchins.
Hi, I'm Jasmine. Most of y'all know me as Jazz. I'm a second year in Rebel, majoring in biochemistry and cell biology, and I'm minoring in business. I applied for board because I wanted to give back to the community that has offered so much attention and opportunities for me at this space. And also because I feel like my skill set and passion in videography and photography would work so well with this position.
So now we'll open it up for questions.
This being KP's 30th anniversary, do you have any plans to capture the Our Story of the past years in preparation for the Our Story Gala this spring?
One of the key factors of me wanting to be the Ourstorian of this year was that 30th anniversary KP Our Story Gala was happening this year. It appealed to me because I would be reaching out to alumni and I really want to know about the history of KP and reaching out to alumni and every member of the community and what it means to them. I took the initiative of reaching out to the past Ourstorian of the 25th anniversary Our Story Gala, and I prepared myself with asking him questions with what he did, how to outreach to alumni, and how he planned for the gala. And I feel like I don't have any set plans for it yet, but I have the idea of what I want to do. And I just I'm not worried so much about it because I know I have my peers and the past Ourstorian could adjust it for their time.
What are ways you'll ensure that there is an equal representation of all pillars and records, such as pictures, videos, and documents of our story?
I believe that space is really important, and with my position, specifically to Ourstorian, I would outreach to every member of the community, and one of the plans I want to do is to be active at the KP Our Story Corner in GBM and feature every single student that I've outreached to make sure they're fine, and I want to highlight their struggles and issues that they're dealing with, and to let everyone know that everyone is going through something, they're not alone, and then like what the struggles that they go through is what they define the story, their story, and everyone's story together creates our story, and I just want to capture everything. Can you speak a little louder? Oh, thank you.
How do you think, sorry. How do you think your position will contribute to all 5 pillars?
I believe that my position will contribute to all 5 pillars on space. I feel like it will contribute to all 5 pillars of space because of the work I'm doing is like highlighting what we're going through, and then
Can you project, please?
I feel like, is this loud enough?
Yeah.
Okay. My work will project, will pertain to all 5 pillars of space because my work is highlighting all the significant parts of events that we're working on in space. I'm sorry, and I feel like my work will, like such as videos, I want to promote the events that board does for the community, and hopefully my photography and my videography of promoting these events will outreach to every single member of the community and say that we're here and this is what we're doing these days.
Wait, are you done?
Yeah.
What is your understanding of institutional memory, and how is this significant to KP's and SAG-AFTRA's under history in the university?
What's our question?
Okay, so what is your understanding of institutional memory, and how is this significant for KP and SAG-AFTRA and their history on campus or in the university?
So for KP being a SAC-org, I know one of the main goals is to address the issues that we have been going through and what we currently are going through. And I feel like it's very important that we remember our past and we continue to work and fight for the underrepresented and the people of people, all the staff orgs.
Ourstorian requires you to attend all KP events. How do you think you will balance this with your academics? And what would you do in the case that you cannot attend an event that needs pictures for post-programming?
So photography and videography is already a passion and hobby of mine, but the concept of self-care is very important to me. I would prioritize my physical and mental health first and my academics, and I will, when in the event that I cannot attend one of these events, I would associate myself with every member of the community and see who has the skill set of documenting every event and
How well do you work under pressure? For instance, last year during HSC, Fiona had to do the video throughout the whole day, so how would you attack that situation? Like, how well do you work with pressure? How well do you work? Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I've been, I have the responsibility. I had many responsibilities in the past. Like, I was part of the BSSA committee, freshman committee. I had to plan events and take pictures for the events there too. I'm also currently head of 2 HSC committees for APSA, and then I also currently take pictures for BSSA, create PowerPoints, and the past year I was documenting for PCC and camping, and I feel like with the people I work with, the pressure won't be as bad because I know people well, and the people I interact with and encounter actually drive me in my work, and I feel like under that pressure, I would make sure that I'm doing my the work correctly, and if there's anything else I can do, I'll just like ask another board member, and if I need help, I can reach out to another member of one of the peers.
So that was 5 questions. Are you comfortable answering more than 5?
What does the title Ourstorian mean to you, and how can you use this position to report the experiences of marginalized groups within the KP space, like queer folk, undocumented students, etc.?
The title of Ourstorian, I feel like I have the responsibility to like get to know everyone individually, like and know their story and like what makes this community, what makes up this community and this space, and like previously I mentioned the project that I want to do is like to highlight other students and their story, and say like that the struggles that they're going through is like what we're also going through, and that's what makes up like our story as a whole. And I want to for specific groups, I want to like I have the responsibility of like highlighting them and like I said in like the Our Story corner, and then I would like promote like videos and maybe like work with other people to have like workshops and events to like get the word out there.
So KP has 5 components. Where do you think Our Story falls on?
I feel like Ourstorian falls in all 5 aspects of KP, because the whole board wants to support all 5 aspects of KP. And I feel like the responsibility of the person just on board is to promote those ideas, and then they'll fall into like the Ourstorian position itself, because like the 5 components are like what makes up like our story, like the struggles, everyday life.
As Ourstorian, it is your responsibility to maintain and update the KP archive. How do you plan on effectively collecting and organizing the archive?
Okay, so what I would do after organizing and editing all my photos, my usual process is saving them in an external hard drive, and then I would make sure every like board member and member of the community would have access to these. And I usually upload my pictures and videos to YouTube, Flickr, Facebook, all social medias. I want to separate my personal work with Ourstorian work. And I would like be active on the KP Facebook, like the KP Ourstorian Snapchat, and make sure everyone's updated. And yeah, make sure I have like separate accounts.
Alright, so.
Okay.
In the absence of the alumni relations position and in relation to the chair, the Ourstorian is the one that's most connected to industry and narrative. Yet every 3 to 5 years, somehow KP sometimes forgets its own stories. What is your way of making sure that the story continues? Especially that it's coming up at the 30th anniversary.
With the absence of alumni liaison, I was hoping someone would actually run for alumni liaison, so I just wanted to work with. But since there is none, I would reach to every board member, see what I can do, what are my what sources I have, and like how I can reach out to alumni and like talk to alumni and see what their experience for KP was and is. And like what KP means to them when they were here in the space and outside of the space. And I would continue to like reach out to the current members of the community in the space, find out their story, to make, and with the Ourstorian Gala, I would try to put everything together and like people speak out with what it is to them. And make sure everyone realizes how much this isn't like just an organization. Like we're all here for each other, and have like the past and history of KP is important.
Any last questions? Okay, thank you, Jasmine.
Next up, we have community activism advocate. So, community activism advocate promotes and advocates Filipino activism and social justice exists as a liaison for KP to the San Diego community organizations, including but not limited to Anakbayan San Diego, KMB, and AFERD. Along with the social awareness coordinator, this officer serves as an official liaison to staff. Additionally, this officer can act as a representative to various campus community meetings and events, including but not limited to Campus Climate Council, Cross-Cultural Center, Affiliates Conference, Apimeta, and CAS. CCAS?
Yeah.
CCAS.
Thank you.
This officer also helps co-coordinate the annual Pro Canal Awareness Week PAW event with the Social Awareness Coordinator and the Gender and Sexuality Awareness Coordinator. This officer is responsible for developing a STAC corner topic at every KPGBM. Also, this officer develops one community service project/event for the term for the San Diego community. And our candidate for COMACT is Mike Francis Vicencio.
Oh god, sorry about that picture. It's like all in your face. Yeah, so hi, my name is Mike. Mike Francis Madriaga Vicencio. And that's a Filipino thing where we have like two first names, Mike Francis, but I do go by Mike. And my Francis was from my dad's name. I am a first year here. I love UC San Diego. I'm also from DRC. I am a structural engineer. I was born and raised in the Philippines, Tondo, Manila, and it was kind of the most. It has some of the most poverty over there. We didn't really live in the best parts. So, and I came here when I was 5 years old. I came to Hayward, in the Bay Area. Yeah, I'm there. Yeah, so that's a bit about myself, and I am running as a community activism advocate.
So we'll start with questions. Oh wait, stats.
Stats, we'll say cutting Asians and now.
What is your understanding of the political pillar, and how could the political pillar intersect between the rest of the pillars of KP?
I have read the Constitution for my position, and the brief understanding for my position is to help our community to learn more about our Filipino culture, and that is to make us know who we are and what makes us special. Although I'm not well known about the colors of the system.
What does it mean to be an athlete? We're taking stats.
Sorry, no, she can go. If you want to go, just go.
Okay. What does it mean to be an ally? What does that relate to your position as a member of a political pillar?
Okay, so along with my many leadership positions back in high school, I was the ASU vice president. I was also involved in Young Men's Group, but it was also an advocate program, and I was also in health advocates. And with those, I was able to kind of help stand up for people. We've done something called the bullying act, where we acted out a bullying scenario, and we recorded the students' reaction. And yes, most people at my school, they didn't really say anything about it, and so we would ask them, how come you don't do anything about it? Because our school is like a bit but to be an advocate and to be an ally, we need to speak up, and we have to make a difference, because we can't be those people who just stand there and don't really do anything. And we are at KP to make an impact, so to just stand there, it isn't really going to do anything, so we should do something.
What is SAG? What are the SAG? Sorry, my questions are kind of long. What is SAG? What are the SAG orgs? And how do you plan on standing in solidarity with other SAG orgs?
SAG is, I believe it was Student Affirmative Action Committee. Right, and what we do for the committee is we help. We're just a community who helps underprivileged students, just like us, we're Filipino, or just people of color. Yes, we've come here from the Philippines, and we have not had the best. We weren't really that wealthy or anything like that, and we just came here. We're underprivileged. And what we need to do is we need to stick up for each other. We have to be familia, right? Like, sorry, right? We have to stick together like glue, because if we don't do that, then we're not gonna. We won't go to. We won't achieve the goals that we want to do in our future. But because we're here in this organization, I'm just happy to be along with many other Filipinos, and it's just to know the people from my culture that will help me, and I will help you all out too. I just wanted to say that we need to stick together as a family, familia.
Political topics can be intimidating to new people in the space. Political topics can be intimidating to new people in the space. How can you make these topics more approachable and understandable for them?
I believe political topics are quite interesting. They're not really too like intimidating. If anything, you could just make it humorous. We are Filipino, so we're very. So if anything, you could just make it kind of add like a little punch to it, and to make it more interesting, we should add more humor to it because we have that ability.
So, I would say like these topics aren't as intimidating. A lot of people have different opinions from left to right about like different social issues. So how do you deal with confrontation, and how would you, I guess, dissect that critical dialogue?
Sorry, can you say that one more time?
So even though you say that so politics isn't as intimidating, a lot of people have different opinions from left to right. So some people may not agree with what you're saying, especially like KP being more liberal and progressive. So how do you deal with confrontation, and how do you confront people that may have like, I guess, more negative opinions, aka like racist, Islamic people, etc.?
Yeah, so again, I was also, I just wanted to bring up that I was in Health Advocates, and we talked about some sensitive issues, such as like bullying and also gender, sexuality. And there were many queer students in our community, and it was, for us, it was like a new environment, and what we did was we talked about it. It's really hard to talk about really sensitive issues, and what we need to do is we need to let a piece of our sensitive piece out, so that other people could come out and say something, so that they could feel more free, and they could feel better about themselves, and yeah.
So that was 5 questions. Are you comfortable answering more than 5?
Definitely.
What is your understanding of institutional racism?
We're taking facts.
You could answer questions, and then I usually and then.
Institutional racism. It's racism in like a community where it's based on stereotypes, and it's generally it's not true, but it kind of eats us up inside. Sorry, that's
So traditionally, queer retention in the KP space has not been good. What do you plan on doing to make sure that KP is a welcoming space for the queer community?
You said it wasn't welcome?
Yeah.
What we need to do is we need to because that's wrong. That's really wrong. What we need to do is we need to talk about like gender and sexuality. Make sure everyone knows that people are actually educated about these things. They can't just like bring up like these stereotypes, and they can't like bring up like these put downs. And it's not really, they're not really presented facts. They just kind of like brought social society like kind of things that are given to them, and they're just misinformed. And I feel like because that they're misinformed, they don't welcome the queer society. So what we need to do is we need to bring up like an event to actually help them understand like gender and sexuality, and why it's important. You know, it's I actually talked about this. It's like I really do not like labeling people as like queer or gay or lesbian, because everyone's just human, and it's just not right. We just need to educate them. That's what I have to say.
How would you respond to the criticism that KP is too political?
It's too political. I believe it's right to be political. It's more organized, and it helps. Alright, it helps us more to become more like organized as a community, and we're able to plan events much better. For that stereotype, I believe we should embrace it, and we shouldn't really like push it away or anything like that. Because if we're given that stereotype, I believe it's more of a compliment than like a purpose.
So UCSD is a STEM-based atmosphere. As a result, many students aren't as interested or invested in social justice. So what is your, so how do you think your position is significant to deconstructing that not interested in social justice atmosphere?
Although I am a structural engineering major, I do love society. And if you do meet me, I will really dig into you and kind of like see what kind of person you are. I love how each individual person can impact society, and how their one person can make up that one whole society. So with social justice, it's just sorry, could you repeat your question one more time with social justice?
So UCSD is a STEM-based atmosphere, so a lot of students aren't interested in or invested in social justice. So what is the importance of your position in deconstructing the non-interest in social justice? And I guess in a more simple way, how would you like respond to someone who's not interested in social justice, who doesn't see the importance of it?
Because I am in the ERC, we're kind of like we're kind of more diverse, and we're kind of introduced to more people who are from outside of the U.S. And with that, we're kind of we're not, the people there are not really from the U.S. and with those we come from different backgrounds, and so to get along with those different people, because we are such a diverse campus, we need to make sure that we understand that understanding social justice is important, because to get along with those people and the people that we meet in the future, it is important to understand that it's to be well educated and to be well informed is important, so you can get along with those people in the future. More
activism is not only protests and demonstrations. Activism comes in various forms and manifestations, like setting up a room for GBM or creating a community space for critical dialogue. What is your definition of social justice, and how does it differ from your definition of diversity?
Can you repeat that last?
How does your definition of social justice might differ from your definition of diversity?
So my understanding of diversity, it's not based on like the color of your skin. It's not based on what you look like. It depends on your background, your culture, and also just who you are as a person. I don't really accept stereotypes nor anything that has to do with what people say about other people, and that's what my definition of diversity is. Did I answer your question?
Being involved in the political pillar, you may interact with members of the community whose personal beliefs conflict with your activism. How would you mediate these interactions, especially if these members have strong opinions about the topic?
How would I mediate it?
Yeah.
I would, because I'm really into people. I really want to dig into why they believe that, and there's always a background to it, you know. And so we need to understand their background and why they believe in that. Also, maybe there's maybe different like culture conflict or something like that, or maybe just where they're from, and just getting to know their background might help us understand their personal belief, and hopefully once we understand their personal belief, we can agree to it.
So you've spoken a lot about solidarity and community among those who are Filipino, but how will you combat social issues that may be perpetuated by members of the community? Example, anti-blackness and hypermasculinity.
Give examples of examples.
The examples?
Yeah.
Anti-blackness and hypermasculinity.
Oh yeah. Yes, we're because of my position, I am also in the SAC committee, and I will be working together with different SAC committees. Eventually, I will not, and I will also bring back what they believe in, and that is what I like to do. I like to learn about different cultures, and I like to understand their different backgrounds and their different, you know, just where they're from and why they're like this, why they're like that, and I will help our organization just be informed of why, or not just our organization, but just help everyone in our community understand what these stereotypes are and why they are false.
Can you expand on these stereotypes?
Stereotypes, the what was it?
Anti-blackness.
Anti-blackness, where I don't like making the stereotypes. It's just a personal belief. Sorry.
This is from Justin. San Diego has a thriving Filipino community. How do you plan on connecting to the external Filipino community as a format?
Sorry, I'm really nervous. Please tell me.
So, San Diego has a thriving Filipino community. How do you plan on connecting to the external Filipino community as COMAT?
As COMAT? Is that an abbreviation?
Yeah.
Just like I said before, it's not just the community over here, the Filipinos in our campus. We should also reach out to the other Filipinos that are here locally, and we should help them by making events such as just to learn more about our culture, maybe some lessons on like tinikling, just something about like our background. I've done tinikling for like about 3 years, and I've always performed at rallies, and so maybe tinikling as a roots might help our community locally.
Okay, so we're gonna take a break because that was a lot of questions. So meet back at 7:10.
Thank you.
You know, I feel like it's like in the beginning he was like hesitant about like going to musician. It's like more yeah, like if you know what you're talking about, yeah, then they'll be like, oh, okay, I know what he's doing. He's the first year, no worry. Like, he might not. He might not. I think people assume that he doesn't know what he's doing. He's on the position to. It's like, oh, I don't understand. You just have to explain. Oh, this is Louis.
Hi, I'm Louis. Hi, I heard your question too.
She was commenting.
Would you be down to join SAC board?
No, he wants to.
Oh, you do? What about SAC? It's okay. I just want you to say the meeting. I want to.
Wait, what's your name?
Megan. I'm Megan. Oh, you're Megan. Oh my gosh, everyone like tells me about you. I know I heard about you too. Yeah, you're first year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, just catch me after. What do you mean? Like this? Like specifically? Like it's intense?
Yeah. No, it's okay. I was really scared actually, but it's proper. Great.
Honestly, you should be quiet. Hi, my name is oh no, probably just gonna stay. Just to see what happens.
You just don't want to leave.
No, there's so many. This one. Yeah, I mean, I just have socio reading, but I don't have classes all day. It's like my only class, I mean, first class of the day, so I'm just reading the day. Yeah, and after this, like, we have board meeting, and then after work on this, like, programming. Yeah. What is that like? Oh, okay. Except like
Where's your meeting here?
Where?
Wait, is this still live? Hello!
How are you? Can they hear it?
I don't think so. They should.
Oh, fuck. There's a delay.
Especially for Crystal. Crystal, I'm just gonna text my questions.
Okay, Okay. So we'll have the next position, which will be Freshperson Executive. The Freshperson Executive office can only be held by a first-year Freshperson. The Freshperson Executive coordinates Freshperson activities and retreats. The officer implements and coordinates workshops for fresh people and transfer students of either informational or social value. This officer will also serve the KP Star Board as the responsibility of attending all meetings. With Vice Chair Internal, the Freshperson Executive co-coordinates the Kuyate audit component of KP Star. This officer has the authority to appoint a transfer student's representative. And our candidates are Jamina, Irvine, and Justin. So again, the way it works is you'll introduce yourself and then you'll take turns answering the question first. So like, you'll go first, the first question, then you'll go first, the second question, and then etc.
Hello y'all, my name is Justin. I'm a first year here at ERC. I'm a biochemistry major, biochem chem. I am running for Freshperson Executive because I am aware that we are the next freshman class here, the next generation of KP, and I want to ensure that the KP has a solid foundation for the next future years to come, especially the retention rates, because I am aware that retention rates are very high. 25% of first year students end up dropping out of their first year or after their first quarter here, and I'm here to ensure that freshmen, I want to help the freshmen transition here into the university.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jamina. I am in ERC as a human bio major. I'm a freshman too, and I was born and raised in the Philippines. And I just moved here like about 6 years ago. So the Filipino culture is in me. And I was introduced to KP by my host at the Ashley Carbonell, but she's not here, but she's here in the spirit. So I am all about giving back to the community and spreading more about the Filipino culture and getting to know everyone and being a part of another like family or community.
So hello everyone, my name is Hermes Castillo. I'm from Warren, first year. My major is human biology, pre-med. I'm from Vallejo, California. But originally from the Philippines. Like her, I've been here for about 6 years. Shout out to Lindy for introducing me to KP. And so I'm running for freshman exec because I want to develop and enhance my leadership skills. I didn't run a lot of leadership positions in high school, and that's something I regret. And I feel like in college, that's something I can work on. And like Jasmine and she said, I want to give back to the community. When I first came to KP, the first meeting, I felt like I belonged. It's something like I felt like I was part of the family of. And that's something I want, incoming freshmen and transfer students to feel when they first go to KP. I want them to feel welcome, just like I felt welcome. I want to spread that out. Thank you.
Stacks for questions. I'm Adrian. I'm Manny, and then so again, you'll go first for the first question, and then it'll go down the line, and then you'll go first, and then
So in the past, KP has been criticized for being a heteronormative and hypermasculine space. What do you plan on doing to create a more inclusive culture within the space?
Okay. I believe on the principle of respect. We have differences, we're all different kinds of people, and as a group, I think we need to have respect for each other in order to function well. And to deal with that, we just have to address. We have to compromise. And like what you guys did, changing the names from Filipino to Filipinao, I think that was like a good transition to a more diverse and welcoming group.
I believe that we should just educate other organizations or other people that we are not inclusive. Like we are open to not just Filipino community and other like ethnicity or other races. And also a lot of I see that a lot of the members are actually not just guys, that there's a lot of gender involved in the organization, and that's really good thing.
Alright. Well, I believe that everyone in KP should have a personal understanding of one another. First of all, it is just basically having an open mind about diversity, whether you classify how you classify yourself as one another. But in my perspective, I believe is we are all we're not just classified as one in one. I believe that like Hermes also said, being able to transition from just Filipino to Filipino is just a good way of just classifying us not all as just one gender, that we all have different perspectives on the way that we look at things, and just being able to have an open mind about something is that's just a quality that I believe that everyone should possess.
Okay. As Fresh Exec, one of your responsibilities include pairing people through the Kuya Ate applications. What would you do if someone was unhappy with their pairing?
Okay, so if I find out that someone is not happy, I would talk to them personally first, individually, and then I would talk to them like face to face for all of them. And I would just tell them or like ask them to find activities that they find activities that they bond with, or like hang out off campus, or just like talk regularly to each other. I think it's just that like the first thing that they see, sometimes like some people look more intimidating, or some people look like they're not really social, but deep inside they're really open to other people. So I feel like communication is the key for them.
Okay. Well, if I was to ever encounter that situation, I believe that first of all, if a person was to be unsatisfied with the way that I have helped assist Jessica and Karen, I would just advise them, and just being able to have a clear understanding and a common base between the two. I would just advise them to talk to them, to communicate, plan events for each other where they can bond, find something that they have something in relation with one another, because having a bond between one another just only makes you stronger. And that's what I believe, that being in KA, being involved in the Kuya Ate Ating program, it just shows that you have someone to turn to. It shows that you will have someone to support you in the time of need. So I would just tell them, just communicate with them and try to find something that you can bond with, because it would only create a stronger relationship.
Okay, so how I would address that situation is I would talk to that person personally. I would ask, why we would decide to switch, or that, and I'd find some common ground, make it work out, because people are different. If two people don't like each other, you can't force them to like each other. I'd find a way. If that means putting a new family member, changing families, changing members, then I would do it, just to make more family oriented atmosphere amongst us.
The first year exec works closely with the vice chair and internal to create the relationship between upper heads and first years, creating not only the family but the sub-families within. The first year exec also works with the current board during the fourth or last year for PLAB, but every year the retention differs for those positions. Where do you see yourself with KP or the philanthropy community of UCSD 3 years from now, and what leadership capacity do you see yourself
Okay, well, I am running for the Freshperson Executive because I am aware that the retention rates do seem to drop after their first year or after their first quarter or second quarter here of their experience in the university. Being Freshperson Executive, I believe that I can help them transition here into the university well, maybe by creating events such as like karaoke night or trips to the beach, or even just leadership opportunities such as spaces, which I know that KP is affiliated with. It would allow them to be able to show that they have leadership. And 3 years from now, I see myself within the board of KP because I really want to dedicate myself within this program.
Okay, so what was your name?
I'm
I love that question. That's a good question. I believe being freshman executive is a good first step to being a leader among Filipinos and the Filipino community in San Diego. And I'm sorry, what was the second thing you were asking?
Where do you see yourself in the philanthropy community 3 years from now, and what leadership place do you see yourself?
Okay, because I feel a lot of connection with the Filipino community, and I do want to give back to the community. You know, if looking back at the situation right now in the Philippines, it's something you want to address. It's something you want to relieve, and I do want to plan events to make us feel more like a family. You know, KP, not just KP, but the entire Philippine community in San Diego and like anywhere else in California. So events like what Justin said, karaoke nights, just dinners, fundraisers, to get everyone involved and engaged, and yeah, basically promoting like family atmosphere, because I think that's the most important aspect in terms of retention. You know, when people feel like they belong somewhere, they want to stay there, and that's my mindset. That's what I want people to feel being part of KP.
Okay, as a Freshperson Executive, I am not only part of the KP board, but also part of KP STAR, which is the KA program, the peer counseling and academics. So STAR stands for Student Teaching and Academic Retention, and I will do my best to be a part of it and to contribute like activities to increase the retention rate of students and make them feel that they're part of the school and part of the KP family, a part of the community, for them to feel comfortable and stay in the school.
Sorry, I'm reading.
What is your understanding of retention, and how does your position as Fresh Exec relate to that? How will you retain yourself while retaining others? What are some goals or potential events you have in mind so that we can retain more of our GBMers?
I go first?
I don't remember who started.
I'll go first.
Who started first?
Okay, I'll start first.
Okay.
Okay. So back in high school, one of my prominent leadership positions was being the captain of the basketball team, and that meant that I had to keep the team together. I had to be a team player. I had to be coachable, and I had to make them coachable. And what I had to do was to build up chemistry and basically incorporate all the members into a family, and make them like each other. And so what was the next part of the question?
How does your position as Fresh Exec relate to that?
And so I believe that skill set will help me, achieve what I want to achieve as a freshman exec, and basically promoting that family atmosphere, wanting everyone to stay, and wanting everyone to like each other for who they are.
You want me to repeat the rest of the question? Sorry.
Okay,
Sorry, it's a lot. How will you retain yourself while retaining others? And then what are some goals or potential events you have in mind so that we can retain more of our GBMs?
Yeah, so basically, to answer the last part, the events I have planned is basically like icebreakers or all like activities like that to get everyone to know each other, you know, like everyone to get to know each other's background, and I think that way we would like connect with each other more and feel like we as an office, and yeah, basically promote that family atmosphere, which is the most important part.
As what I mentioned earlier, retention is when you make people feel comfortable and make people feel that they belong to the school and to the community. And as a part of the ASB leadership class for 2 years, I was a mentor to two other people, and for them to make to feel the retention, I make them do jobs, and I keep an open mind because they're new people. So I was their mentor, and they feel kind of intimidated. So what I do is I teach them ways, like small ways to make the job easier for them. And I feel when I talk to them, and I tell them that if I feel like I'm intimidating, like tell me, or like if I'm too bossy, like tell me. And also for people to keep coming to KP, like to GBMs, we in our Filipino club in high school we do learning Filipino words every GBM, and every last Friday of the month for our meetings we do a potluck of every Filipino food, and so through that we spread the culture more, and people learn about our culture, and they embrace it more.
So, from my understanding of STAR, it is Student Teaching Academic Retention, established in 2005. In order for the retention rates of the universities, not only UCSD but in any university as a whole, it's just to basically it's to increase the retention rate of undergrad students, underprivileged and underrepresented students here at the university. Before retaining the students here at the university, I believe with myself, I'd have to have a clear understanding of my position. And I believe that only having your understanding of your position and your motives to achieve what you have for the inside of the freshman class as a whole is to start with yourself. Because once you start with yourself, that's when you can incorporate those into bigger settings for the entire freshman class, which I could also help retain students here in the university, because a lot of them do end up dropping out after their first year or maybe after their first quarter. I feel that students who aspire to join here in the KP organization, I feel that they can really have a sense of belonging. For example, I can create events such as like movie nights, or establishing events where they can have karaoke night, like I said before. Events just basically to help them feel that there is a sense of community and that there's a sense of belonging for them. Because once you come into a university, you do feel like I'm going to be honest, when I came into this university, I felt I was looking for something, but I honestly knew that KP was something that I wanted to be a part, that I wanted to be affiliated with for my entire undergrad years here at UCSD. And just knowing that I can help retain students and provide them the motivation to stay here in the university with the support of others in KP as well is just all that I've ever trained for.
So, as you all are first years yourselves in the process of transitioning into college, how do you plan on helping the transition of numerous other first years, not only during your first year, but throughout your fourth year, since this is a position that lasts until your fourth year?
For my experience, transitions are not really hard for me because I am a person who is not afraid to try new things. Like moving as an immigrant, moving from the Philippines to the U.S., I already well, I only spoke the English language, so it wasn't a hard part. But maybe trying to meet a lot of new people. I was a little shy before, but I changed that because I know that being shy wouldn't make me like go to places. So I made myself a little brave. And so I tried a lot of new things. And I would just talk to a lot of people when they feel uncomfortable. Like I will tell them my personal experiences and tell them that YOLO, you only live once, so don't be afraid to like be crazy sometimes. And it's college, so it's alright.
Okay. So, in order for me to help the undergrad class, specifically the freshmen here transitioning into the university, I do have a couple things in mind that I want to establish here in the organization. There is the, okay, so in order to help them feel like they belong here in the university, or in order to give them ideas and insight on how they should transition into the university, is creating an event where I can have the upperclassmen, the third or the fourth year, or the transfer students come to an event where I would create for the freshman class and have them give ideas and give them ideas like study techniques, or how to transition to the university, or how to have a successful academic pathway here in the university, because I know that a lot of us, sometimes we're not familiar. Speaking as a freshman myself, we're not familiar with the academic pathways here in the university, which is why we can come to a counselor. But as a freshman executive, I could point them to our peer counseling program as well. So that would also help them transition into the university, knowing that they have the support of upperclassmen, like of an event that I want to create in the future as well. So that's what I have.
So as an incoming freshman, I'm sure all of you have gone through it in your first years here. You're all nervous, you're all excited, you're all like curious and like looking forward to what was coming. Yes, and so what I would do is I would want people to know, incoming freshmen, that we've gone through the same thing, and we want to let them know that we're here for you. We're gonna help you out. We're here to listen to you, and we're here to help you with your struggles. And how I would deal with that is just like I said earlier, a lot of icebreakers, a lot of activities that would get people to know each other. Like karaoke night, like he said, study sessions, and a lot more to help people basically get like a family. And I keep saying that word, sorry.
So that was 5 questions. Are you comfortable answering more than 5? So, Adding Gilmer, adding Mari, adding Manny.
Alright, so as a first year last year, I personally felt that there was a lot of disconnect between first years who are trying to be active and first years who are already active. How do you establish this as a problem, knowing that we as an org make it important to be welcome?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah. Sorry. As a first year last year, I personally felt that there was a lot of disconnect between first years who are very active and first years who are trying to be more active. How do you establish this as a problem, knowing that we as an org make it important to be welcoming?
Well, just knowing that there is a disconnect between freshmen who are experienced.
No, not experienced. So basically, it's like there were a lot of so there was a lot of disconnect between first years who are already active in the space and those who are trying to bring themselves out more and be more active in the space. But there was a lot of disconnect in between.
In the space, meaning like here as KPs.
Yeah, like in KP.
Okay, so knowing that there's a lot of that there is a disconnect between.
No. Sorry, not now, but there was a disconnect. Okay. If that happens, like how do you establish that as a problem, and like how would you like knowing that we're supposed to do that?
Well, KP as a whole, we are welcoming, and we are here to support each other in general. And I do know that coming into KP, I felt that my transition into the organization was very welcoming and a lot easier for me to transition. However, since it is an organization of being able to increase the retention rates of students here in the university, I feel that we can, since it was a problem before, I feel that we could probably improve upon the problems in the past by being able to create banners or flyers for our club in order for those who are not involved to join our club, because we do, in the end, we do want to expand our club. We want to make it a bigger organization. So that's how I would go about that problem.
So by you said disconnect. Did you mean like people weren't communicating each other, or they didn't get along with each other?
It was more like the people who were trying to be more active were having a hard time trying to be more active because of the fact that there was that disconnect where like we weren't very
close.
Yes.
Okay. But let me just share my experience when I first came here with like the GBM and the bonfire. I think you guys did a good job in like getting people to get to know each other. You guys like killed it, and that's something I wanna continue. And you guys showed the example, and I'm sure like my confidence will help with that. And to deal with that, like I said, a lot of events, a lot of icebreakers, because I think that's the most fun, like for me personally. And to me, I rushed the past week, and what fraternities did to keep me like going to their events, to keep me connected is, they would text me, they would get to know me personally. They would do Facebook, groups and add me. They'd email me. They'd do whatever, hand out flyers, do everything to basically, come to get me to get to their events. And once you are in the events, that's when you feel like you have the most attention, and yeah. There you go.
I feel like the disconnect or gap could be eliminated through communication and inviting to a lot of events, like on Facebook. That's how I knew it. Communication, like personally between the members too, just like talking to each other, and the mentorship from other people, and
Who's next?
Any other questions?
Oftentimes, in this position, fresh people is often translated to catering mainly to first years, yet it is also for catering to the retention of transfers. How do you plan on retaining this year's transfer students?
Okay, I think it would be the same process for the incomings, because like then they would be nervous and excited at the same time. They would share the same feelings as the freshmen would. Basically, to let them know, like through activities, through personal talk, to let them know that we are a group of people willing to welcome you in our group, willing to listen for you, willing to be there for you. Through your process, through your journey through college, and to let you know that it's going to be okay, and that we're all going through the same thing. Yeah.
As a Freshperson Exec, I am going to be responsible for the events and activities of the fresh people and the transfer students. So, just serving under the KP Star for retention, and peer counseling, so people know that they have someone to go to when they're having a lot of trouble, like personally or academically, and invitation to a lot of events.
So, in order to help retain not only just first-year undergrad students, but as well as the transfer students, I believe that it would be the same process as Hermes said or Jamina said. It would just be it was just your motivation and your dedication to your position in order to just push out the events you want for them to come to. You want them to be welcome. I know that as the year will progress, sometimes there is late year transfer students who will come here late. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how late they are. We can always give out we can help transition them into our organization. Just let them know that we're here for you, that everyone else is in the same boat, not only us as freshmen, but second years and third years and transfer students who are coming here, that we're here for you, and everyone is in the same situation, whether it be the academic pathway is not as narrow as what they thought it would be, whether it be for them being able to transition and making friends. And I feel that being able to retain students, it would just be your motivation and it would be your doing and what you aspire to put out to the community in order for them to come to our events. Because if you don't, then you really don't get, if you don't try, then you don't get the fire to that stick, if that makes sense. So yeah.
In what way do you think this position is political? What is social justice, and what is your understanding of institutional racism?
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
In what way do you think this position is political?
Well, as a Freshperson Exec, and as part of the 5 pillars of KP, the second one is the political. It is my responsibility to spread awareness of the political issues of Filipino and Filipino Americans community is what's happening right now and what they're facing. And the second.
Or you just answer the first part.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah,
Oh, okay. So as part of STAR, like I said earlier, it was established in 2005, and it was to help retain students that are underrepresented or underrepresented or underserved students of color in the university, have educational equity or educational social equity here in the university. My definition of social justice is probably the equality, the way that you divide equality for, I don't know how to say it, but for each individual, it's an equality of something. So I believe that being a part of STAR, like she said, the 5 pillars, it's a political act as well. A lot of the retention rates, it has to do with the SAAC, the Student Affirmative Action Committee, with the NSA or the NSA or the BSA as well, or even KP in general, since we are the KP in a whole, we are involved in SAAC. And since we are involved in a multicultural organization, it is our job to cooperate with those organizations in order to deliver social, political, and academic equality for those students who are in the SAAC.
Okay, so your first question was, in what ways is KP political?
Or in what way do you think the position you're applying for is political?
Okay, so I believe, like, as citizens of this country or wherever you're from, we must be aware of our rights and what the political issues are to this day. And I believe one of the goals of KP is to let people know, especially as an underprivileged or minority group, with the members in our group, to let them know that, that of our rights and what we can do, and that we, just because we're a minority doesn't mean that, we can't do anything. We actually have value, and that we can change society, change the world. And what is social justice?
Yeah.
Social justice to me is striving for that state where people have equality in terms of wealth, in terms of like economic, conditions, something like that. And that relates to solidarity.
So topics of gender and sexuality are often foreign to incoming first years. How will you encourage learning about these topics, and what are your plans on maintaining the retention of queer audience?
Okay, so I would want to create awareness for the LGBTQ community, or in part of SAAC, I believe that there's an organization, I don't know what the acronym was for it, but it had to classify with LGBTQ. First of all, I believe that creating events of awareness of just for LGBTQ, you're paired with your queer ate. Let's say, for example, if they are, I don't like to classify because it's not something I would say. You are you. You are what makes you you, and everyone is special and unique in their own way. So, just creating awareness like an event where I can help and assist others, where I can invite them into our community and just let them know about the political issues, or just the topic of LGBTQ, or just the topic of that, then it would just help them have an open mind. Because I believe that being in the Kuya at the Outing program, you have to have support for one another, and just classifying someone else as a name, that doesn't cut it, because like I said, you are you. You are what makes you you, and you are unique in your own way.
So I agree with what you said. You said incoming freshmen they're not really aware of the issue, and I wasn't personally aware until you addressed in GBM. I believe that was you.
Yeah.
And what I would do as freshman executive is to coordinate with the person responsible, to coordinate, and to plan events, to plan things that will make people even more aware, or just at least get comfortable with the differences, especially within the LGBTQ community. And like in particular, like I would have like events where I would group people, some people who aren't really aware with people who embrace LGBT, and that would help them. It's like an immersion experience. Where we get to know each other and get to know each other. There you go.
As a Freshperson Exec, first thing that I'm gonna do is communicating with everyone and ask them if they're comfortable. Because as a Filipino, like in the Philippines, like your parents grew up there and grew up in the culture, different culture, and some of them don't accept like the other genders aside from being a male and female. So as their children, or as their only child, you're gonna acquire it, and you don't even intend you didn't intend to acquire it, but you just did because that's how they raised you. And so I have a gay cousin, and his father, like my uncle, had a hard time believing or like accepting the fact that he's gay. But at the end, he's still his child, and he's still my cousin. So we just accepted him and looked at him not differently, and just like as one of us, because it's still family. And in KP, since we're not inclusive, it shouldn't be a big, there shouldn't be a difference or shouldn't be a matter in the first place, because we should all look at each other and not in the same way.
What are 3 values or principles that you believe foster a healthy mentee-mentor relationship? What main focus or what will you keep in mind as you pair?
Okay, mine would be respect, commitment, and integrity. Those are the 3 most important aspects when we talk about the family system. Yeah, I mean, for me, like my philosophy is like if you don't have those 3, then like in any workplace or in any group, then you wouldn't really function well. You know, you need to have those 3, and those 3 are the ones that I'm willing to develop among all the members. And yeah, to have the welcoming, atmosphere for everyone.
And what main focus or what will you keep in mind as you pair?
It's basically promote awareness of the differences. Like if people, like there's someone who's not really aware of something, I'd pair them up with someone who does. Or that's one of the things that will help me decide. And just making KP, like she said, less inclusive, embracing diversity and multiculturalness. That's pretty much.
Okay, first, being open-minded, being kind, and the respect for everyone. Because being open-minded is a big deal for me, because some people are kind of trying new things, and it's like one of my pet peeves. I hate when people stick to just one thing. I believe that you can do everything as long as you set your mind to it. And being kind, because it's just I feel like it's just a golden rule. It doesn't matter. Just be kind to other people, because you don't know what they're going through. They might be going through some huge problem, but and then you judge them, and I don't think it's a good thing. And then respect for everyone, because we are very diverse. And one thing that I'm going to keep in mind when pairing is I should know when people are comfortable with each other, because when people are comfortable with each other, that's when they start sharing, and you're gonna see that they truly bond with each other, not just because I paired them with each other. They're not forced.
So, I believe that being a freshman executive, that the 3 basic principles that you should have is respect, communication, and cooperation. Since I am running for this position as special exec, I believe that these principles will fall in the place of communication and cooperation with you, Jessica, as well, because you are going to be my partner on the side, where I'm going to help you assist pair the Korean audience and the audience in the program. I believe that I don't want to have any bias in pairing the Kuya audience. I want to have an insight for each individual who they are, and being able to pair them with someone that they might have interest. But I also want them to be paired with someone where they can explore and find new ways to bond with each other, because that's the entire idea of KP is to have a sense of community and a relationship with one another, and being there to support each other. So I believe that through that, having to pair the Kuyas and Ates in the program, it would only make it stronger.
What do you think is the hardest thing about retaining students, and how would you combat that as freshmen?
I think the hardest part of the retention program is when students just lose their hope, and they feel like they can't do it anymore. But I strongly believe that that can be prevented by the peer counseling, and that they have, that just knowing that they have people by their side and people who can they run into when they feel like they can do what they want to do in like school, or that just know that they can share their problems with someone, and there's a lot of students who are going through the same thing that they're going through.
I believe that one of the hardest things of retention is, because UCSD has so much individuals here in the university, whether it be like 80,000 undergraduates here or graduates as well, 200,000 people and over. I believe that once they come into the university, it is hard for them to transition, and which is why the hardest things I find is for them to know that there are opportunities for them to be involved in, such as KP or other organizations, because I believe through that, once you get involved with something, knowing that you have, with an organization, knowing that you have the support of one another, then that only increases retention. But the hardest thing is for them is to get that message out to every single individual, because one person as freshman executive, he can make a difference, or he or she can make a difference in that position, but it takes KP and it takes the SAAC, Student Affirmative Action Committee as a whole, in order to convey that there is those opportunities for them to join. So that's what I would say.
So when you say retention, are you talking about retention, like students retaining within UCSD or
Yeah, like
KP?
what's the hardest thing about just like retaining students within the space, like the KP space,
Oh, the KP
and within
space.
within the UCSD community as a whole?
Okay. I think the hardest would be for them. I think it would be like losing interest, or maybe finding another passion. And I think to address that situation, I think having like the family system, having people there for you to help you out, and to be it's like people who are there ready to see you anytime, when you need someone, when you need help with anything, and just people there to listen through. I think that really helps a lot. And when you have that that feeling of having someone, then I feel like that's gonna help people retain. People think, or then thinking about leaving, and yeah.
Do you want me to keep going, or do you want to take a break, or do you want to keep going? You're good.
Yeah, we're good.
There's one more question. Anyone else have any more questions?
So being fresh exec is like on top of the stuff that you have to do that says in the Constitution. It's also like underneath like board core and being on two boards. Like just the time commitment in general is kind of heavy, especially for a first year. And I know some of y'all have been looking at other commitments too. So if you pursue multiple things, how do you feel like you balance them, and what would you prioritize?
When I was planning my classes for UCSD, I wanted as a freshman to have an easy workload. So I just took 3 classes because I wanted to develop. I wanted to join clubs. I wanted to try out, explore all the other opportunities and possibilities in UCSD. I wanted to open myself up and develop my social life. And I think what were you asking? I'm sorry.
So how would you balance everything that you're pursuing on top of school? And if you do end up
Okay, so I believe that if you want to make a commitment, then you have to stay committed. You can't make too much commitments. You can't commit to too much clubs. I think you have to stay. I know you were all busy. You would have to at most you could be able to commit to 2 or 3, and that's what I plan. I want to devote my time to whatever I'm committed to. I can't just say I'm committed to this or that without even going. I have to be there. and that's why I made my workload very easy as a freshman. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So my friends know me as someone who wants to be well-rounded. Like senior year, I was in sports. I took AP classes. I was working, and I'm in the leadership class. But when I started my job, I know that I can't handle like 3 AP classes, so I had to drop one. So, but through then, I know that I have to set myself like limits. And whenever I'm tired, I try to relax. And for KP, the boards care for each other. So I know that I have to take care of myself, and I know that the board members are gonna take care of me too. And I'm just gonna keep in mind about self-care. And I try to unwind by like going out by myself, like through museums or just walking or running or taking a long shower. Taking long showers, like to think things clearly.
So based on my past experience, my family hasn't always been in the best position in terms of economically. My family was struggling. We couldn't pay for electricity. We ended up, the water we missed a bill or a payment where it wasn't hot. And there was times when we were about to lose our house. It put a lot of pressure on me, and especially in the high school environment as a senior or a junior. I started working with my first job with it was Little Caesars, but then I went on to Cold Stone, and then I left Little Caesars. Cold Stone, I became assistant manager, and I was also working at McDonald's, where I was promoted to cashier and register in the drive-thru. So the reason why I did obtain those jobs is because I wanted to help my family. With that, through academically, I was also able to balance that. Having 2 jobs in high school, being able to help my mom from here and there, helping pay for my own insurance, my car, and being able to just support my family and as a whole, and as well as academically, it wasn't. At first, my junior year, when I first had my jobs, it was a lot harder. It wasn't a lot harder. It wasn't harder for me to balance my jobs and helping my family as well, because I was also involved in IB, and IB is the International Baccalaureate program, and one of the main components of the IB program is to have time management, and time management is something that I really learned how to have as one of my abilities, because in terms of finishing my assignments, working late night shifts from 2 a.m. in the morning, going from job to job, doing my assignments, and having that the social life out of the work environment and the school environment, I was able to balance all 3, and which is why being able to obtain the position as a freshman executive, I feel that based on my experiences, I can handle the responsibilities that the position requires, because I do want to be able to support my freshman class, and I want to be there for them, and so that's what my past experiences are based on.
Just for fun, like, what was the last song that you listened to?
Chainsmokers, Closer. Chainsmokers, Closer.
What's the question?
What was the last song you listened to?
This is very important. I listened to Closer by Chainsmokers. I like to listen to that like a lot, and sometimes I'll blast it in my dorm. And then like the people from the second floor are like, "Are you playing music? I like that song. Like, can you keep it down?" It's
I was into Caroline, if you know that song by honestly, because like we're like the littlest reading more and stuff. So yeah.
I listened to that song that Juju on the beat.
Oh my god.
I don't know why. I think that's the last time I heard.
Do we need another break, or are we good to just finish? Just finish? Okay, and lastly, we have Vice Chair External. Alright. The Vice Chair External is responsible for all events and contacts outside of UCST. This officer is an unofficial liaison to student and community organizations outside of UCST, including but not limited to the Filipino Collegiate Collaborative, FCC, and the Southern California Filipino American Student Alliance, SCPASA. This officer enforces officer accountability with the chair and the vice chairs. The Vice Chair External co-coordinates the annual Makasama of Public Relations in the fall quarter. This officer, along with the chair and vice chairs, also promotes student leadership and development by means including, but not limited to, facilitating activities or workshops. The Vice Chair External prepares meetings and agendas of the chair and vice chairs and all board meetings with the KP STAR coordinator and the KP core coordinator. The chair and vice chair plan retreats, including but not limited to an officer fall retreat, spring transition retreat, and one all board retreat along with KP STAR and KP core coordinators. The Vice Chair External, with the vice chairs, assumes the duties, all duties of the chair in the chair's absence. This officer is also an official liaison to KP Core and serves as a collegiate liaison on the KP Core board and has the responsibility of attending all meetings. And our candidate is Crystal Hansen.
Thank you for that. You shouldn't have that high expectations. Okay. So, intro? Yeah? Yeah? Go, Kyle? Okay. So, hello. My name is Crystal. I'm a fourth year biochem cell bio major in Revelle College with an ethnic studies minor. I think that's my intro. I'm from Bakersfield, which is like Central California. It's in the middle. Yeah, so I guess why I decided to apply for a board. So I'm running for Vice Chair External. And I guess I decided to apply for this position because when I first joined KP as a first year, it was actually a really welcoming community and I didn't know what to expect, but like it definitely met any expectation I had and more. I found some of my best friends here, as well as like the community was always very welcoming and empowering for me to go to. So I definitely love it. But ultimately, coming to college, I really started getting more into access work, and I think that drives everything I want to do with being Vice Chair External. Because I don't know, the look on my face when I'm able to do access work, when I'm able to see that a high school student really wants to go to college, like that look is like I don't know how I can manipulate it in any other way, and I think that's a way. Like being Vice Chair External, I could, still have a chance to work with high school students while also being able to bring that work to the community, and be able to empower other individuals and like continue this access work in general. So that's why I decided to apply.
Okay, so we'll open it up for questions.
What is FCC and your understanding of its role in KP? How do you plan on making FCC more visible in the KP space?
Okay, so if you don't mind, I'm going to take that like one question at a time because I would forget. So FCC, FCC is the Filipino Collegiate Collaborative, and your second question, sorry.
Your understanding of its role in KP?
Okay, so my understanding of FCC and KP is, FCC is basically where all the different Filipinos, excuse me. FCC is basically like, it collaborates all the different schools that have Filipino orgs, and it's a way for us to collaborate together in order to put on, in order to, I guess, collaborate on different events. So an example of that would be like, for example, KP has our PCC in spring quarter, and we invite FCC to come watch our PCC while also being able to go out and watch other PCCs. So it's, I guess it's a way for us to collaborate in different work, whether it's access, retention, cultural, political, like it's different ways for us to collaborate and be stronger as an organization and as a community in general. And the third part of your question?
How do you plan on making FCC more visible in the KP space?
I think the way to make FCC more visible in the space would really be through communication. I haven't had communication with FCC because I wasn't on board, but I think it, like, just communicating with them in general, seeing like what events that they have going on in the next few weeks, the months, or whatever like that, and also telling them what we have going on, seeing where we can meet in the middle, where we can even plan like retreats for like whether it's for board members or open it more up to like the community and see like different events that we can have together, whether it's a potluck, anything that gets us meeting other new people to see how we can use their ideas and being more innovative and stuff like that. So.
As an executive position, Vice Chair External assists with not only their own position requirements, but also assists with other board members with their events. What experience do you have with supporting others while sustaining yourself in your own work?
So my experience in working with others, yes, that's a question. So I actually was on board before. I was on board in my second year as a recreational director, as well as I was also on board with BSU at the same time. And so, wait, sorry, can you repeat the question?
So what experience do you have with supporting others while sustaining yourself in your own work?
Oh, okay. So in terms of supporting others, I think that's best, like, yes, going to their events and stuff like that, but also reaching out for when they need something, whether it's like helping them set up for the event or helping them clean up for the event, just that type of work in general. I think just always showing that like you're willing and ready to help when they need it, but also encouraging them to ask for help. It's a big part of their own growth as well. So I think that's a really good way to facilitate, I guess, like board support, if you want to say. Sorry, Paolo, what was the second question?
So while sustaining yourself in your own work.
And in order to sustain myself, I think my best way to do that would be communication. Let other board members know what's going on in my life, and also just like continuing to like have a planner which works for me, and like have a planner to keep things organized. And if something comes up, like I got to talk to, like I guess the other execs if elected, and let them know what's going up, as well as just being transparent with the board.
So, as you know, this position also serves on KP Core Board. So being on KP Core Board entails a lot of freedom and creativity with your position. This also comes times of ambiguity. How do you feel about and deal with such instances? In other words, how do you or would you work in an environment where you may not always know what's to come?
Okay, so for those who don't know, CORE stands for Community Outreach to Realize Empowerment.
Let's go,
Okay, and I guess with the idea that Vice Chair External is pretty ambiguous on CORE Board, I guess so I guess one idea that I had, knowing that the position is kind of ambiguous, is kind of like to make the mentorship idea of it more sustainable, because I know like there is like on-site and encore and stuff like that, but I think for me personally, like for students that I have mentored in the past, like after that year, it's really hard to keep that connection going, but making that connection more sustainable is, I guess in my vision, like a way of like guiding students to continue going to higher education, but also encouraging them to reach out to others in their own community and encourage them to go into higher education, because in my perspective, it really is hard to reach out to everyone, but by making like a difference in one person's life, you have the ability to like spread, you know, that influence and, you know, keep that vision continuing, and just really hope that you do end up empowering individuals, and you do see like those individuals that you empowered at this university or at another university, just hopefully practicing higher education if that's what they choose to do. Mari, I'm not sure if I answered your question already. What was the second part?
How would you like deal with working in an environment you don't know?
Oh, and I guess to deal with working in an environment where I may not know what to do, I think it never hurts to ask other board members for help. Just because I don't have an innovative idea doesn't mean they don't. So seeing what they're going on or seeing where I can help with them or expand something that they're working on to a different component through core. So I guess that'd be my idea. And if anything, like if that fails, then I hope that I would be able to ask those before me for advice in any way to see how they can collaborate with me to like make some effective work and reach out to others.
As you know, this position also serves on the KP Core Board. How do you plan on contributing to the success of the Core?
How do I plan on contributing to the success of the Core? I think in order to collaborate or to contribute to the success of Core, well, first I would focus on one of the events that the vice chair external position would have coming up, which is Makasama, November 5th, save the date. So definitely like putting a little bit more focus onto that, but also, I don't know, I guess continue to bring really innovative ideas. I know a lot of the work that CORE does, and it's like, it really is like beautiful work, like that access, like, y'all know that's not a word. That may have sounded weird, but I think to contribute, like just throwing out innovative ideas in any way that I can, but also I'm gonna stick with that for now, because I guess it's weird to say, like, I can't predict the future. I can't predict what's going to go on or what is going to come to my mind, but I know that as long as, if given the position, I really will keep working hard to make new ideas, to keep bringing, like, different events or things that, like, we can do to bring more high school, or I guess college students once they get here, to bring more students to the university and to eventually retain them once they get here.
What does board support look like to you, and how will you foster the growth of others who are new to board while also fostering growth of those who have been on board?
Alright, so to first start off, what is board support? Alright, so to me, board support can be defined in different ways by many individuals, but to me it really is like, for one, like when a fellow board member has like an event going on or a GBM going on, like I feel like it's really important for board support to like, try to be there for that board member, and if you can't, like just communicate with them. Like I understand the fact that we're all college students and stuff, we all have stuff going on, but at the same time, I would understand that I signed up for this position, so it's important to like not only do the work that I came to do, but also support those around me who are also doing great work for the community. And what was the second part?
How will you foster the growth of those who are new to board while also fostering growth of those who have been on board previously?
So I guess in order to foster the growth of those new on board and previously on board, I don't know, I guess for me the best way to do it would be really to provide the welcoming space that board does provide, but also to like remember that every board is different, like completely different, and so whatever board was when I was a second year is definitely not what board could be if I was on board as a fourth year. So to like treat it that way and to know that like all board members, new or returning, are going to learn something different from their experience. And I don't know, I guess to answer any questions that I might be able to answer with my previous experience, and also just like, I don't know. I think for me, how do I say this? I think for me, it partially is like hard to, easy to kind of like get, in a way, like discouraged for like some of the events coming up, or with the stresses of like school and like events coming up. It's, I don't know, for me, can be easy to get discouraged, but as vice chair external, I would want to be able to like show the other board members like that they really can do it, to keep pushing, because they're almost at that finish line, and to know once they finish that finish line, it will be one of the best feelings that they have. And once they have their event, they will have a smile on their face, and just knowing that everyone around them appreciates them for that event, or for whatever's going on, like just to show that they are really appreciated. And I think that itself creates a different experience for any single person with whatever event or GBM or anything that they may be doing.
So that was 5 questions. Are you comfortable answering more than 5?
Yes.
So that position of vice chair external was open during spring, and afterwards the application was on a rolling basis. What made you wait to apply until fall quarter? And then what are you hoping to gain and accomplish as vice chair external?
Good question. So the reason I decided to wait until fall quarter to apply, it actually started out because I personally didn't think I would be capable of doing the position and all the work that entails, especially as a 4th year with my own stuff going on in terms of like work in other organizations. I personally just didn't think I'd be able to suffice to all the work that external had to do and all the support that board could give. Later on, it kind of just became that I forgot to apply. And then, I'm trying to be honest here. And eventually, as I was like questioning whether I would apply and stuff like that, it really just that's supposed to happen. It really just became that like the idea that, like I said in the beginning, that this community really has given so much to me, and I really would be like foolish to not be able to give something back when I can. And I guess it was the idea that like I am capable, you know. Yes, I've gone through a lot in college, but this is 4th year, you know. Go hard or go home. So I applied to this day now because I know that I'm capable of doing this work. And the second part of your question was?
What do you hope to gain and accomplish as vice chair external?
I guess I hope to gain more connections with the other board members that I have a possibility of being on board with. And also just, I guess in a way, like learning about myself. I think board is always a great way to like do work that you're passionate about, but also, I guess, find new things about yourself that you never may have thought about before. So yeah, I hope I gain connections and learn more about myself, especially as I continue life and graduate.
As an exec on board, there may be times where you must make executive decisions that your peers and friends on board might not like. How do you plan on separating your professional relationships while also maintaining the relationships you have outside of board?
In order to separate my personal and I guess professional relationship, I think for me it really is like I said before, like about communication. It's one thing to be in a room with somebody on board, and one thing to be in a room with somebody hanging out in some different way or whatever. So like if it is an issue that arises on board, I think my best idea would to just leave everything on the table, like handle it in this room or wherever the board meeting is, handle it in that room and figure out what's going on. And then to know that when you're leaving that room, you're not leaving with whatever issues may have arise. You're leaving as friends, compadres, whatever you want to call it. You're leaving in like a different way. And I think it's it's for me at least, it's like really important to keep that boundary line separate. That boundary line separate. I think that's what I'm going to say. Yeah. In order to continue doing the work you do, and I guess continue building your relationships outside of board space, but also know that like, yeah, I'm gonna stop there.
Any more questions?
As a SAC organization, we do a lot of work to foster the sustaining of students on campus that are underrepresented. So how do you see your position directly working towards this and while retaining members of the SAC community?
So I guess I see the vice chair external position heavily working with SAC just because, just because as vice chair external, like I would be in charge of reaching out to different communities and organizations in order to, you know, I guess learn from them, but also hope that they learn from us as well. So can you repeat your question again?
So like, how do you see your position directly working towards like sustaining underrepresented students?
Okay. I guess so in order to sustain underrepresented students, well, definitely to have events that invite them to come, but also, I don't know. I guess I'm still working on a way in which I could be able to get to know them and get a feel for what they want, but also to reach out to them and see what they want, like what kind of things in the past have sustained them in order to like see if we can implement those today and work. And in those words, like I would hope that I'm able to reach out to other different organizations and see anything that they have done in the past that has helped them retain other students, and hope that that works. But if not, because not everything you do works, I would regroup myself and see what the next step to take. But one second. Repeat your question one more time.
How do you see your position directly working towards sustaining underrepresented students?
We're gonna try this one more time. So, I will make sure that there are events for underrepresented students in the different communities, but also reach out to them and see what retains them, and I don't know, hope that we can build connections and hopefully, I don't know, create some event that collaborates all the different SAC organizations to come together and meet one another in different ways, learn from one another in different ways, and empower one another. Yes.
Any more questions? Last question? Last question. What is allyship and how do you plan on fostering a community within KP?
Wait, sorry, I can't hear you.
What is allyship and how do you plan on fostering a community within KP?
So I'm going to try to explain this through an example. So I guess allyship in some way would actually be like me trying to be here, because I think allyship is a way for other different communities, organizations, ethnicities, races to come together and I guess in a way like fight for one another, be there for one another, support one another in any way that they can. And I say that because, like I said, I've been in KP since my first year, and with everything that goes on, like I do try to make it so that I'm like there, so as supporting people in this community, but I also see it that like as I'm also heavily involved in BSU, I also see like with so much going on in like the with African Americans in general and everything going on, I see like people in this community like going out and reaching out to others and supporting others and fighting for others when we protest on Library Walk or anything else that goes on. I think that is a really, for me at least, a really good definition of allyship, being there and trying to support others that, you know, are oppressed. And I think the second part of your question was?
How do you plan on fostering a community within KP?
I think a good way to foster allyship within KP would also to just, I don't know, continue reaching out to other organizations and seeing like what they need, you know, what's going on with them, and like, you know, just I guess keep myself updated on like the world, and not the world, that's really hard, but keep myself as updated as possible, and just kind of see like what other communities need, you know, at the time, like whether it's support, whether it's even like a simple hug or someone to talk to. Try to reach out to them and really create like, you know, an allyship.
Okay, so this concludes Q&A. So the ballot will be released tonight on the KP page within the next 2 hours. And yeah, so don't forget voting will close on Friday, and then results will be released this weekend. All right.
Thank you.